Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing something that just about no one is talking about, but that everybody should be talking about. Of course, over the last couple of weeks, we've had the news ramp up, and we've had our entire news media focusing on that, but that doesn't mean that it's the only thing important that is going on in the world, or even in the global economy. In fact, guys, along with all of the economic disruptions that are going on right now, I would argue that one of the biggest ones is one that we talked about a little over a week ago, and one whose situation has most certainly updated. That, of course, would be the oil market. We're going to be discussing the oil market in today's video because many of you may not know, the oil market is one of the biggest markets on planet Earth, far larger than any other precious metal market, and it has been getting absolutely destroyed during this pullback. We need to talk about this because this is one of the things happening during this economic pullback that is going to have a major impact on the global economy and on Bitcoin. We're going to be tying all those things together in today's video, and I know you're going to learn something from this video, so if you do enjoy today's video, consider hitting a like on this video so that you can support this video. Yeah. Anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Over the last 2 days, as you can see, Bitcoin has put in a couple of spinning top formations here on the daily chart, and we have seen Bitcoin move into a period of sideways consolidation as the rest of the world is continuing to decide whether or not we're going to continue doing this thing called existing. So far, it's still undecided. But over the last 24 hours or so, we can see Bitcoin has actually started to move to the downside, and these might not look like very major moves, but remember, they're actually pretty big indeed. Right now, Bitcoin is experiencing quite a lot of volatility. This run-up right here, that was 40%. The pullback that we've had over the last few days, 15%. These are not small moves. These are actually very large and profitable moves. From there, Bitcoin has come down to rest several times on the 100 hourly simple moving average, and I'm hoping that we will bounce right there. If we don't, then we're more than likely going to be coming down testing the 200 and then other moving averages farther below if we break those as well. Guys, pretty much every single time frame is looking relatively bearish right now as far as the very short term. Now, as far as the long term is concerned, that is where it gets a little dicey. Because as you guys can see, we've had a bullish cross here on the daily chart, and our RSI is still sitting down here in oversold territory, which means that you would expect us to continue moving to the upside. Furthermore, Bitcoin fell very quickly, and we have continued to rally. But this, my friends, looks a little bit like a bear flag, and if you look at the weekly chart, then you actually get a perspective of what Bitcoin is doing. I'm hoping that we don't go back below that 200 weekly simple moving average, but it is very much possible that we do. We'll be discussing that more in future videos, of course. But guys, I want to go ahead and jump on over to the Brent crude oil chart, as we have discussed in a couple of videos over the last few videos that we have put out, because it is very important that you guys understand just how large of a market the oil market is, just how much money is going to be lost because of what I'm about to show you, and just how large the impact this is going to have on the global economy in the not so short term due to the news. Let's take a look at this chart. This is the daily chart, and as you can see, the Brent crude oil chart has been jumping off the metaphorical cliff. But of course, it can sometimes be hard to tell the scale and scope of things on TradingView. That's what the measuring tool is for. We're down 64% in the last 71 days. More specifically, since a month ago, we are down 58% from the 20th of February. If you guys don't know what this chart is measuring, it's measuring the value of crude per barrel in the US dollar. We have pulled back by 2/3. Now, this is not unprecedented, guys. We've seen the oil market do things like this before. We saw the price of oil pull back 60% back in 2014, and following that very shortly thereafter, oil pulled back another 60% moving into the beginning of 2016. Pullbacks like these do happen, but they don't tend to happen very often. You can see that the last one before that happened back during the financial crisis, where it pulled back 75%. But taking a look at this chart, I would say this one is definitely a little different for two reasons. One, we have pulled back much quicker. Two, we have pulled back much lower. We saw oil pull back to around $40 to $50 back over here in 08 and 09, and right over here we saw oil pull back to an absolute low of around 27. Right now we're sitting around 25, and frankly, the bottom might not be in yet, guys. And the reason that the value of oil is so important, and the reason that I'm making an entire video on it, is because you may have noticed, think about it, you may have noticed gas prices are going down. Why are gas prices going down? Well, raw gas, oil, crude oil, is lowering in value. It's being traded for a much lower amount of money. Because of that, yes, gas prices are going to go down, which is an end result that the end user is going to be pretty happy with. If you're seeing $1.99 for gas, That's going to make you pretty excited, at least where I come from, because normally they're like 270. But the problem comes when you realize one very critical factor. The oil market is a $1.7 trillion industry. Compared to other metal markets, gold is a $170 billion industry. Iron, the resource that builds our entire infrastructure. Steel, which we build pretty much everything out of, is just iron with a large carbon content. Copper, which is, that's the material that we use to make every wire on the planet nearly, except for some gold wires and some high-end electronics. Aluminum, aircraft bodies, automobile bodies, all kinds of things use aluminum. Zinc, manganese, nickel, silver, all these other elements. And argon, krypton, neon, radon, xenon, zinc, and rhodium, and chlorine, carbon, cobalt, copper, tungsten, tin, and sodium are also very important. And all of those are very large markets. Yeah, I know the song. Tell me in the comment section if you know where that's from. All of those metals, even including the ones that I just said that rap out that song, those all come to about a $660 billion per year market. The oil market is still $1.7 trillion in size, dwarfing them all of them. It's ridiculous. Guys, petroleum goes into everything from your car to your plane to your train to the plastic straw that you are not allowed to use anymore. It is used in everything. And the point of this video is that when oil prices go down, when the price of crude goes that low, it makes oil producers unprofitable, especially American shale producers that have a higher operating cost than many of the other oil producers in other countries because the oil is either easier to extract or labor costs are lower. And what that means is that because oil has crashed this hard, one of the biggest industries on the planet is in major danger. Now, don't get me wrong. Many industries are in danger right now, especially things like the restaurant industry. Many industries are in bad danger. But I hope and pray that a lot of our lawmakers are also thinking about the oil producers because, guys, I understand, the green movement. I'm all for that. I'm all for saving the planet and, tree hugging. Believe me, I love that. But the fact of the matter is that if the oil market goes bankrupt and we start seeing oil producers go under, this thing that's going on right now, the news, this is going to be a lot larger than a blip in 2020. That is going to be a much longer recession if a lot of our oil producers start going under, because oil is literally the lifeblood of the global economy. So guys, I would encourage you to continue paying attention to what is happening with the oil market and oil prices, because it is a very, very important industry, and the mainstream media isn't going to be keeping you up to date on it because they're focusing on the news. A lot of my friends call me a college dropout because I started doing some college and this YouTube channel started doing well, and some other things like my trading started doing well, and I stopped going to college. But while I was in college, I had this professor, and we're going to call him Professor F because his last name started with an F. And Professor F was a really cool guy. I really liked him. I ran into him at the supermarket one day. It was pretty cool. But he once said that whenever a historian describes their time, their zeitgeist as interesting, that's a bad sign. And I very much think that he and many of those people that he was referring to would describe the time that we are in right now as interesting. We are quite obviously in an interesting point in human history right now. The oil market is in danger. Pretty much every single market is in danger. And the only people hiring that I know of are the major grocery stores. A few of the people in my social circle have already lost their jobs because of this. One of them working in the food service industry and another one of them being a personal trainer. I'm not going to do what some people are going to do and get up here in front of this camera and lie to you guys and tell you that it's all just going to be okay. What is happening right now sucks, and it is going to be hard, and people are going to lose a lot of money. People are going to lose their businesses, and it is going to be a very difficult time. But life isn't always easy. I will tell you that from experience, and I think a lot of you guys know that as well. I don't need to repeat it. The coming months are going to be difficult, but that doesn't mean that we need to bury our head in the sand and pretend like nothing is wrong and run from those challenges, because often I've found that if you run headlong into those challenges and you face them, because you're going to have to face them anyway, but you face them on your terms, then you have a much better chance of coming out the other side unscathed and hopefully stronger than ever before. It's not me I'm worried about during all this. I'm going to be okay. If I get sick, I'm going to live. If I lose my business, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to, but I'll be all right. I'm not worried about myself in this, but I do want to help you guys as much as I can. So if you ever need anything from me, I may or may not be able to help you, but I would love for you to reach out and ask anyway. My email is cryptojeb@gmail.com. If you have any business inquiries or anything at all, feel free to get in contact with us there. And guys, to wrap out this video, I just want to really spread a message of unity and caring for one another, and compassion is the word I'm looking for, because the way that we're going to get through the news, and whether it's overblown or not, I mean, it is an issue. There's no doubt that there is there's a major economic pullback happening because of it, and a major humanitarian crisis happening because of it. We need to remember that compassion for one another, and that, you know, taking care of one another, watching out for our families, and being there for people that need us when we have the resources to do so, that is what is going to see us through this, and that is what is going to have us come out on the other side of this better than ever. And like I said in the previous video, hopefully with a better understanding and a greater appreciation for all that we really do have, because I think a lot of us spend too much time complaining about what we don't have and not enough time being thankful for what we do. So guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the world comes together in the next 3 or 4 months, and I'm very much hoping that that is going to happen, but we shall see. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. I do hope you guys did enjoy today's video. As always, if you did, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does really help out the channel when you do that, and I would be very appreciative if you did. But anyway, guys, like I said, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.